Never trust a beautiful woman, especially one who's interested in you.
Well, roger that, sir, we won't. You see, this is why we can't get enough of the legendary Magneto. Are you facing a similar situation? Can't get enough of Magneto? Well, wait no more, because here comes our top 10 Magneto Volume 2. Love your enemies indeed. Starting off the list, we have Magneto destroying the world. A lot of people are mad that Magneto kept saying he's such a bad guy, but he just proves otherwise. With his heart broken, Eric has now been recruited by the blue-headed extraordinarily.
Who the fuck are you?
He intends to wreak havoc on the world with powers that everyone underestimated, including himself. Determined to take revenge on humanity itself who have taken everything from him, he stands above the world and feels every little fiber of metal that lives within the earth and the water. This shows that Eric is no villain who only wishes to harm everyone. If he did, then he would have been one of those crazy guys who were obsessed to strengthen themselves and figure out how to master their abilities to kill all those who stood in their way. Now he summons all the strength he has to bring the world to ashes by pulling all the metal out of the world. At number 9, we have Magneto saving a worker. Living a new life, Eric now works in a manufacturing company, laying low and just living life one day at a time with his lovely family. Sounds a bit boring for a guy who lived life with so much thrill, huh? Anyway, one day at work there was an accident. With extraordinarily's awakening, the world experienced a quake that let one of the metal things filled with melted metal break loose and almost fall over one of the workers. And if it weren't for Eric, that guy would have been dead. Which no one really appreciated, because next thing he knew, he needed to run away and then he finds his family killed. Ungrateful humans.
My name is Magneto.
Next up, we have Magneto moving the satellite. Everyone really needs that person who will believe you and your capabilities, even just one. For Eric, that person was Charles, the first person who truly believed that he was more than just a villain and that he can do so much more.
More tea, Vicar? Don't mind if I do.
This was a very beautiful scene between friends helping one another. While getting ready for their fight, each first class was training to have a better hold of their abilities, including Eric. With Charles' help, he was able to find true focus, a point between rage and serenity.
There's so much more to you than you know.
He was able to do this by accessing a memory of Eric with his departed mother, a memory he thought was forever lost. And because of this, he was able to move a giant satellite that was so far from them.
Don't do that again. I agree.
Number 7, Magneto gets the X-Plane back together in mid-air. In one of their missions, the X-Men were faced with a problem. The Air Force was chasing them and get them off their tails. Storm summoned tornadoes, but still 2 missiles were sent out and Jean was only able to self-destruct one of them. The other hit their tail, causing them to lose control and was crashing. When Grant and Magneto put together the broken portion at the back of their jet, he guided the plane where he was with Mystique and ultimately stopped them from crashing.
Jean? It's not me.
He looked so majestic and sounded so elegant with his witty joke.
When will these people learn how to fly?
You sacrificed your powers so you could walk. I sacrificed my powers so that I could sleep.
Up next, we have Magneto and Charles arguing. After Logan came back to the past to get Charles and Eric back together to help him, the two got into a heated argument. Pointing the blame to one another for abandoning each other, Eric got so angry that he was causing the plane they were in mid-air to malfunction.
Where were you when your own people needed you? Hiding! You and Hank, pretending to be something you're not!
Eric.
Well, we can't really blame him. Eric is a man of the people. His own people, though. And for Charles to blame him when he was only looking out for their own kind, it really got to him. Thank God for Logan and his carefree attitude.
Want to pick all that shit up?
Time to go.
Number 5, we have Magneto attacking Shaw's ship. People used to wonder about how Eric and Charles met because they became friends when they had opposing views. Well, this shall answer your questions. During Charles' prime, he was helping the military hunt down Shaw. As we all know, he was also Eric's prey. So naturally, one can expect Charles to find Eric attacking Shaw's ship. Charles' group was ready to retreat when they were experiencing difficulties, and Charles can't seem to penetrate Shaw's ship with his abilities because they also had a telepath in Shaw's group. When they were rushing to get down below, Charles sensed Eric in the water. Charles dived in to stop and save Eric from committing suicide and just to stop Shaw. If it weren't for Charles' intervention and his famous line, "Calm your mind," then Eric might have been able to stop the ship or would have died trying.
I thought I was alone. You're not alone.
Next up, we have the train station standoff. A runaway rogue has boarded the train, and that was when Magneto came to kidnap Rogue, although Logan thought he was after him. Oh, seriously, Logan.
What the hell do you want with me?
You? My dear boy. Whoever said I wanted you?
Anyway, at ease, Magneto ripped the train wide open and levitated in, frightening everyone on board excluding Logan. As he was ready to face him off, Magneto stopped him, which wasn't so hard considering his bones are made of literal metal. Bad magic from Magneto. And so, with a finger, he sent Logan flying away.
Alles ist gut. Alles ist gut.
Try.
At number 3, we have young Magneto squashing the soldiers' heads. This scene is just really torture for a child. While being pressured to use his abilities by the Germans, the young Eric had to suffer through the guilt of being responsible for the death of his mother because he wasn't able to move a single coin on the desk within the time limit that was set for him. So, because of the shock and anger of his beloved mother, he first squashed a bell, then the file drawers, and then he went for the heads of the soldiers. Fortunately for Eric, the helmets they used were made from metal. Nothing like getting revenge to the guy who took your mommy. Man, mommy's boys are really scary.
Banshee's got a location on shore. You ready for this?
Let's find out.
Up next, we have Magneto lifting the submarine. The First Class are reaching their final face-off with Shaw after locating Shaw's submarine underwater. It was Eric's job to lift it out. Simple, right? But for Magneto, this proved to be one of the most difficult things he ever had to do. He was still unaware of all the awesome yet frightening things he was still capable of doing. You know what we're talking about. While holding on to the leg of the plane, he started to feel the submarine, and when he felt it with all his might, he pulled the whole thing out of the water, then brought it to shore on an island. Oh, amazing job, Eric. And finally, at number 1, we have Magneto destroying Auschwitz. Eric had just lost his family, everything he had ever loved. That was when En Sabah Nur came around and brought Eric to where it all started.
Come and see.
Auschwitz camp, the place where he activated his abilities and where he last saw his mother.
Where were you when my father and mother were slaughtered in this place?
By tapping into all the pain, Eric was able to take his abilities to the next level. He moves the tiniest pieces of metals inside the sands, turning even buildings into ashes. This is such a powerful scene. It captures what heartbreak can truly do to a person. It pushes a person to their limits and makes them do things they thought they were never possible. So, what do you think of my list? Do you think there are other moments that are more deserving to be on the list? Feel free to give your opinions in the comment section below. Check out Volume 1 on this video by clicking the card on the top right of this video. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button for similar videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time on the TV Regent.